Madam Deputy Speaker, I'm delighted to rise to support the Biodiversity Beyond National Jurisdiction Bill today. The introduction of this legislation marks the beginning of a process for the UK to ratify and then implement the Global Oceans Treaty. This vital agreement enables the protection of international marine life. Currently, no protection exists for wildlife such as fish, turtles, dolphins, who inhabit the high seas over which no one country has jurisdiction. The ocean, covering more than 70% of the surface of our planet, is a vital shared resource. It provides us sustenance, oxygen and genetic resources for food, medicines and research. It is also our greatest ally in the fight against climate change as the largest carbon sink on the planet. It is, however, also an ecosystem under perilous threat. The increased ocean temperatures are symptomatic of the warming climate and endangers us on land too through a decreased capacity to absorb carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, the rising sea levels and the loss of vital marine life and resources. The introduction of this legislation today reaffirms this government's dedication to protecting global marine life, as well as mitigating climate change and improving our natural environment. And in the current moment, where the environmental consensus is at risk, and there are those who would retreat from the world and pretend that we can draw up a metaphorical drawbridge and keep us safe behind the safety of political castle walls, this bill is a significant marker of this government's commitment to multilateral processes, which in fact are the only way to address some of the great challenges of our time. Yeah. And I have to say that this is one of many debates on the environment and nature that I have attended in recent weeks and months, at which not a single Conservative MP backbencher has bothered to turn up. And I don't say that to thumb my nose at them. I say that because I think it is profoundly depressing that His Majesty's official opposition, I oppose the Tory party with every fibre of my being, but they are one of the great political parties of Western Europe over the last 200 and more years. And they have just given up. They are just not interested. And it's not just today. It is debate after debate that I attend where some hard-working frontbencher turns up and not a single person sits behind them. And I say to them with the most earnest sincerity that election defeats are disappointing. The Tory party's got to man up. You've got to turn up. You've got to start taking this seriously, because these are matters of the most supreme importance, and we cannot have the official opposition just refusing to engage.
Quite right.
I have to say also that the comments from the Honourable Gentleman from Lukewarm were pretty lukewarm, and I understand that the previous government looked at this for quite some time. It never got so far as to legislating. And listening to what he was saying, I was left still uncertain how supportive they actually were of the measures that are being proposed. We'll find out more during the committee stage, but I hope that they are, having committed in government but never actually legislating, they are going to get behind this important legislation. Now, as we've heard before, this bill fulfils the commitment that the Labour government made at the UN Ocean Conference and indeed made in opposition. And the oceans need UK leadership and action. The evidence that the EAC received during our recent inquiry on governing the marine environment painted a worrying picture of the state of the marine environment. Globally, it's under threat from global warming, from pollution, from overexploitation, leading to a 49% decline in populations of marine mammals, birds, reptiles and fish species, according to the Living Planet Index. And UK seas are also in poor condition, failing on most of the indicators of good environmental status in the most recent assessment by the government. There is some good news, however, which is that marine conservation efforts are effective. When we do it, it works. Whilst only 9% of the ocean is currently protected in the marine protected area, remarkably half of all catalogued marine species have been reported in that 9% of areas. 72% of the species facing extinction have found refuge within marine protected areas. And the government is taking important action to better protect the 38% of UK seas already designated as marine protected areas. I repeat what has been said by other colleagues, that we want to see the government going further. Currently, damaging activities can still take place in these areas, but that consultation that my honourable friend from Hull West and Holton Price referred to is vitally important. Nearly two-thirds of the ocean is considered high seas or international waters, which poses a governance and logistical challenge. How is it possible to protect areas which are beyond the jurisdiction of any one nation? And that's why the Global Oceans Treaty of 2023 was so significant. It does mark a landmark moment in providing the legal foundation to establish MPAs in areas beyond national jurisdiction. And the creation of protected areas in the high seas is essential to making 30 by 30 a reality. Now, this bill, which establishes the legal framework necessary for the UK to meet its obligations, is vitally important, and its royal assent lays the groundwork for the UK to ratify the agreement. As we've already heard, 60 countries have already ratified the treaty. It will come into force next January, and the first UN Ocean Conference will be held within the year. So it is vital the UK gets on with ratifying that treaty so it can be party to discussions and can shape agreements. Setting out a timeline for the UK's ratification of the Global Ocean Treaty is one of the key recommendations of the Environmental Audit Committee. So we welcome the Prime Minister, my honourable friend from Hull West and Holton Price, keeping their word on this. This is a narrow bill which allows the UK to fulfil our global commitment. I would caution well-meaning allies against extending the process or undermining the commitment the governments make by attempting to attach other commitments that aren't actually relevant to this bill and create division where actually what we need is unity on this incredibly important area. I do believe the ratification of this treaty is but the start. We have much more to do to protect 30% of the oceans by 2030 and to establish marine sanctuaries where marine life can thrive. So, in conclusion, Madam Deputy Speaker, I strongly support this bill. I look forward to its passage through Parliament. I thank the Government for prioritising this despite a heavy legislative workload. It is a welcome development, providing the powers and regulations needed for the UK to ratify the treaty and working with other nations to do so.
Ros Savage.